This is a stimulus update and daily news report, and things are getting really crazy now. There's stimulus standoffs left and right. Sinema, Democrat senator, sends a threat to Nancy Pelosi saying, if you break your word on infrastructure, I'm out, basically derailing the entire package. Nancy Pelosi says that there's going to have to be adjustments made to that $3.5 trillion package. Meanwhile, Mitch McConnell and the Republicans say that they will vote to default the U.S. on its debt ceiling and not raise that debt ceiling. We'll talk about Bernie Sanders and his $1,000 checks, and I'll play some video clips in between highlighting all these topics and give you some more important updates. Then I'll answer the questions you leave for me in the comments. Hope you're having a terrific Tuesday. If you appreciate these fact-based, fast-paced updates, hit the like button down below, and I'm giving $200 to my subscribers, and I'll talk more about that later on in the video. But first, I want to go over this Fox News poll that just came out saying that majorities favor mask and vaccine mandates as pandemic worries increase. So when it comes to different topics that people are concerned about, looks like inflation prices, 82% is extremely or very concerned about, coronavirus pandemic, 74%, Afghanistan, 73%, and unemployment, 72%. Now when it comes to believe wearing face masks helps reduce the spread of coronavirus, 69% said yes, 28% said no, and coronavirus vaccine is safe and effective, 65% said yes, 29% said no. I'm really curious about these last two questions, what you think, how these results of the poll compare to your own personal beliefs. What do you think? Face masks reduce the spread, yes or no with that? And coronavirus vaccine safe and effective, yes or no? Let me know your thoughts on that down in the comments below. Next, let's get into the craziness that's going on right now. So Democrats set up showdown with GOP by attaching debt limit to bill to avert government shutdown. So if we don't have our spending in order, that omnibus bill, by September 30th, the government will shut down. So House has been set up to take up a stopgap spending bill ahead of the September 30th deadline for the government funding to expire. So stopgap is basically a loophole. Basically, they're saying, hey, we're not going to have everything done by September 30th. We need a 1-week extension, also known as a stopgap. And in order to have that stopgap, what the Democrats are going to do is they're going to attach the debt limit increase to that stopgap, which is going to force Republicans to have to vote for it. So that's a pretty serious thing. I mentioned this yesterday, how Joe Manchin wants to delay the voting of the $3.5 trillion package until 2022, which is a big deal. He was actually saying this to some members that weren't part of Congress. This wasn't a public discussion, but of course it got leaked. Here's a video clip explaining all the complexities, what's going on within the Democrat infighting, the standoffs, the showdowns. Take a look at this video clip right here.
It's also a development that the White House and Democrats in Congress would love to be celebrating today, but they find themselves in a web of interwoven standoffs where nobody's blinking. I'm thinking like Reservoir Dogs. And if they don't figure a way out, the entire Biden legislative agenda could fall apart, because deadlines to avoid a government shutdown and a potential default on government debt are right around the corner. So as Congress returns to Capitol Hill, here's where we are right now, starting with the House. 1 week from today is the self-imposed deadline that Speaker Pelosi set for the House to take up the bipartisan infrastructure deal. But the Progressive Caucus is adamant that they won't vote for it unless there's a vote on that sweeping $3.5 trillion budget resolution first. But then there are a group of those 9 House moderates who say they'll jump ship if that happens. And adding yet another level of chaos on top of this whole thing, the reconciliation package likely won't even be ready by Monday, with Senate committees still working on the bottom lines. You still with me? Well, the Senate parliamentarian has also handed Democrats a crushing defeat this weekend, saying that a pathway to citizenship is not allowed in the budget reconciliation process. Democrats say they have a backup plan, but it's not entirely clear what that is. Meanwhile, tied up in all of these legislative standoffs and setbacks are 2 impending deadlines. Government funding runs out on September 30th, and the debt ceiling limit is set to be hit sometime in October. Republicans say they won't help at all with the debt ceiling, which leaves the heavy lifting to Democrats, which would add yet another wrinkle into their not yet ready reconciliation package, which might then also derail the bipartisan infrastructure bill. Look, folks, there is no way out of these series of standoffs that will make every last member of the Democratic caucus happy. But if they don't get action on at least some of these matters, it's not just the Biden agenda that's in peril. The government won't be able to keep the lights on in a matter of days, and the economy could be headed for something much, much worse after all that.
So there's a lot of craziness going on when it comes to those stimulus standoffs and showdowns. We're going to talk about more about the debt ceiling in a moment, but first, let's talk about Bernie Sanders and his $1,000 check. So Bernie Sanders says Senate Democrats weighing $1,000 vouchers for seniors to purchase new Medicare benefits. So this isn't official yet, but Sanders said Democrats are weighing $1,000 vouchers for seniors to buy new Medicare benefits, saying, I think what we're looking at here is $1,000 right away. Use that to go to a dentist if you cannot afford to go. Experts say that it could take years for Medicare to set up a new dental coverage program. So originally Bernie Sanders wanted dental to be included. It is not. And so this is kind of a work around that. So basically saying we can't get a dental assistance in the Medicare program, but here's $1,000 and hopefully this will help cover your medical bills. $1,000 I think could help with cleanings and routine visits, but any major surgeries that are big things with teeth, probably not going to cover much, but it's better than nothing. Let me know your thoughts on that. The $1,000 vouchers, is this a good idea, bad idea? Let me know your thoughts. Next, let's talk about what's going on with that debt ceiling. So Mitch McConnell privately urged GOP senators to oppose debt ceiling hike, saying also that So we're going to be joined by my daughter Kalea. She was knocking on the door wanting to come in, so here she is. Kalea, you want to say hi?
Hi.
All right, so a few more articles to go through. So Mitch McConnell says the GOP will vote for the U.S. to default on its debt. To clarify, says that it will vote for the U.S. to default on its debt. Basically saying here, Mitch McConnell quickly struck down the idea, saying the GOP would not vote for the legislation. He said this a few times. He said that there's a Democrat House, Democratic Senate, Democrat President. Therefore, it's the Democrats' obligation to take care of this, and the Republicans are not going to get involved. So what he said here is we will not support legislation that raises the debt limit. Democrats do not need our help. Basically saying, Democrats, you want all this stuff, all this spending, you take care of it. We're not going to do this. So in the joint statement from Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer, what they said is this: addressing the debt limit is about meeting obligations the government has already made, like the bipartisan emergency COVID relief legislation from December, as well as vital payments to Social Security recipients and our veterans. Furthermore, as the administration warned last week, a reckless Republican forced default could plunge the country into a recession. So basically saying, Mitch McConnell, if you don't vote for the debt to be raised, the debt limit to be raised, then our country could go in recession, and it'll be because of the Republicans. So yeah, it's getting heated now. Here's a video clip talking more about the debt ceiling and what Democrats and Republicans are saying.
Will the House vote to link the two, to combine them so that they vote both to fund the government and to raise the debt limit at the same time?
Actually, Chris, I don't think that decision's been made yet. We have several options for raising the debt ceiling, which is absolutely mandatory.
Will Democrats just fold it into a continuing resolution?
Well, I don't know that we have any plan to do that, but I certainly would advocate doing that. The full faith and credit of the United States of America should not be compromised on the altar of politics.
The position that Republicans, primarily my Senator Mitch McConnell, have taken is totally irresponsible, and I hope that they come to their senses, because Mitch has been running around Kentucky taking credit for a lot of the spending that is now requiring us to raise the debt limit.
Debt ceiling context is important. We actually raised on a bipartisan basis the debt ceiling in the last Congress because on a bipartisan basis we agreed on what to spend the money on. This time, Democrats want to increase the debt ceiling on for their reconciliation bill, which they're passing on a party line basis.
I personally would like to see a clean vote on a debt ceiling so that Republicans actually have to go on the record on that vote only and not mix it with a funding measure. But ultimately, the most important thing is to get both of them done.
You're fine with it passing in a Democrats only vote?
No, I'm not fine with that, but if that's what it takes, that's what it will take. The American people will see what the Republicans are doing on this front as well.
So let me know your thoughts on that. Next, I'm going to answer the questions you leave for me in the comments. Maureen Simmons asks, if there is to be cuts, why is it to affect seniors and students? Why not to affect the upper, wealthier echelon of society? Well, the short answer there is because the upper, wealthier elites and wealthy people, they're the ones who make the rules and usually are not affected. And they have the most power too. Natalie Janvern, why not stimulus check states citizens need help? Massachusetts hadn't sent anything, poor we need it. We poor need it. Excuse me. So yeah, Massachusetts, not one of those states that was sending state stimulus checks. I think there was like 8 to 10 states that were sending some form of stimulus check. Massachusetts, not one of them. Deborah Labar, where do I sign up at? So, not sure what you're talking about. There's the senior $1,400 stimulus check. There's a petition for that. You could Google it. There's the $2,000 per month change.org petition. If you type in fourth stimulus check, $2,000 petition, you could easily find that. It's almost 3 million signatures so far. Janine Davis asks, just wanted to say thank you for all you do. My question is, are you and your family okay? We are always concerned about our updates, never asking you, are you fine, and kids enjoying going back to school. Well, thank you so much, Janine. Thanks for the question there. Yeah, we're all good. No issues, of course. We're all going through our own struggles in our own way. There's always friends or families, that are going through something, but for the most part, we're good. We're healthy, right? How you feeling, Claire? You good?
Yeah.
Yeah? Feeling good? You happy? Yeah? What makes you most happy? What are you happy about?
Sad and happy.
Sad and happy? Are you sad? No. No? Are you happy?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's good to be happy, right? Yeah. Well, yeah, so for the most part, we're all good. Kids, we're actually homeschooling, so the kids are not in school. And yeah, wife is working as a nurse. I'm doing this, trying to create some other content on my other channels, kind of building the dominoes for that. But yeah, we're all good. But thank you for asking. Anyways, that is all the stimulus news I have for you today. To hopefully brighten your day a bit, here's my daughter Bella's tip of the day.
Hi guys, this is Bella. This is the tip of the day. I want to tell you something that you should do. So every time you make mistakes, you make mistakes, and you only have one life. So clean those up and make a new world.
Thank you so much for watching. As mentioned before, if you're curious about the $200, so I have details to that down in the description below. Basically, you have to be subscribed to this channel and my other 2 channels. I'll have more details on what you could do and what the instructions are. Just click the read more or show more tab down below this video, and then you could sign up to potentially win the $200. And yeah, that's about it. So, want to say bye?
Bye.
Yeah, take care, be safe. Thank you for watching. Bye. Have a good day.
Bye.
You been silly?